Program today, the call of faith on the armed forces radio service 107.7 FM Abuja. I am Dr. Gidado Taufik Mikdad, taking us through this program today. I want to start by appreciating the Almighty Creator of the heavens and the earth for His mercy, for His goodness, for His countenance, for everything that He had done to us and He's doing in our lives. We remain and forever remain grateful, Lord, for your mercy. We remain and forever remain grateful for your countenance. We remain and forever remain grateful for everything that you have done, both visible and invisible. Those we can see and those we cannot see, those we can understand and those we cannot understand. Lord Almighty, we are grateful. Forever and ever we remain grateful because this couldn't have been except as a mercy from you. If it's not a mercy from you, so who else could have done it? Who else could have given us? Who else could have given us all the opportunities that we have in serving you, in pleasing you, and in worshiping you? None else could have done it except you. All the thanks and the praises belong to you, O Lord. I use this to welcome you all to this program today as we kickstart the first segment of our program on the call of faith. Today we're going to be talking about the topic, absolutely possible. That it is absolutely possible. What is absolutely possible? Everything kept in God's hands is absolutely possible. You see, the lives of man on earth is interspersed with myriads of challenges. And sometimes it becomes so tumultuous that you'll be thinking that can I ever get out of this problem? Can I ever see this to an end? Can this problem be over? Will I be able to have good news? I've been waiting, I've been searching. I desire to have this. I want to get that. But it seems everything is failing and everything is fading away. It seems it's going to be possible again. How on earth can it still be possible that I have all these that are forever in my life, desire to have? I tell you today, with the Almighty Creator, it is absolutely possible. You see, there is a problem there, listeners. The problem we have is that sometimes we try to bring God to human space. And we tend to look at it that whatever is it that is not possible for man to do, that cannot be possible for the Almighty. We tend to look at it scientifically. Science, law of science cannot allow this to happen. Hey, excuse me, law of science, we're talking about the creator of the law of science. With God, is it possible? It might be anti-science, but it's not anti the Almighty. Number two, we say it is naturally. You can't have this thing done naturally. You cannot. Yes, God doesn't need to obey the law of nature. God can make it possible supernaturally. You say ordinarily we should be able to have this, or we can't have this, ordinarily this can happen. That is what you're saying. But that is not what the Almighty is saying. Because with Him, everything is absolutely possible. Now, I'm choosing the word absolutely, and I want us all to underscore it. Because sometimes you like some things to oh, this thing is over. It's a nullity. It's not going to happen again. Then I say, when you come to the Almighty, instead of saying that this is absolutely impossible, we say it is absolutely possible. Let's take a look at it. And now we're going to give some examples in the Quran. And the last example we're going to give, if time permits, is one of the things that happened to a friend. For us to understand that God is not only working with the people of the past. As God had done it before, He is doing it again, and He will do it again and again and again. Nothing stops the Almighty. He's always there. It's the same God. The creator that held, in the Quran, God tells us that, can't you see how God held the heavens and the earth in its place? The power of the Almighty with which He held the heavens and the earth in its place is far more than your power. Gives you the Homo sapien on the earth's surface. Right? So that makes us to understand that everything with the Almighty is absolutely possible. The first example is this. We recall in the glorious Quran, chapter 21, and I want you to please find time to read this. In chapter 21 of the glorious Quran, God tells us about Abraham and the challenges he had at the hands of Nimrod. Abraham introduced God's message to Nimrod, but Nimrod refused. And not only that he refused, he threatened to kill Abraham, and he actually went out to achieve this. What did he do? He prepared a big furnace, a huge furnace, and he directed his men, his soldiers, his whatever, to throw Abraham into the fire. He said he want to see him burned alive. Here was not a man that was killed and then dumped in the fire alive. Abraham was put in a catapult and he was launched into the furnace, big fire. Apparently, people around Abraham that day in support of the king were jubilating, whereas the believers were sad because they felt that this is going to be the end of Abraham. At that point in time, as a person, ordinarily Abraham should have given up and said, okay, I tried my best. That's the way God wanted it. And that was the state of Abraham. Because when it was about being launched into the fire, the last word Abraham said was, Hasbi Allah. God is enough for me. Allahu Akbar. He said, God, even if I die, God is sufficient for me. God is my sufficiency. That was the last thing Abraham said. Now, when Abraham was thrown into the fire, we say the ordinary and scientific reading assessment of this is that anything that goes into that big and huge furnace should be burnt. And there's no doubt about that. Anybody can say that this thing is burnt, is dead. But at the same time, Abraham was launched into the fire. God ordered the fire. In the Quran, God said, وَقُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. O you fire, be cool, be calm to Abraham. God directed the fire, be cool, be calm. In other words, not just be cool, be calm for Abraham, be conducive to host Abraham. My servant is coming into you. He was going to be in the fire and you shall not burn him. And so did it. So was it. It happened. Abraham was in the fire. And in fact, in one of the reports that came historically, that Abraham was asked, when was your best moment in life? Abraham said, the time I can see myself that I enjoyed the coolness of life was while I was in the fire. Amazing. Allahu Akbar. So we say it is absolutely possible. With the Almighty, there is nothing like it is impossible. The next example we're going to give is the case of Jonah. We cited this example before, but let's bring out the content now. Now, when Jonah was thrown into the water and the whale swallowed Jonah, we all know that scientifically, oxygen is off, right? The chance for Jonah to breathe in the belly of the whale is knocked off because the space in the belly of the whale is not oxygenated. So there's no way for him to breathe, number one. So if you can't breathe, then you're going to die, right? So number two is that the enzymes in the belly of the whale, there are powerful enzymes that can crush anything that enters into it, right? But the whale swallowed Jonah. Jonah was in the belly of the whale. The enzyme did not attack Jonah, and Jonah was still kept alive. So we look at this scenario and say, it is absolutely impossible for a man to be swallowed by a whale and the person is still alive. We say it's not possible. But with God, we say it is absolutely possible because that was what happened, right? That was what happened. Jonah was in the belly of the whale swallowed him, and he did not die. And eventually, God directed that the whale should vomit Jonah back to the people of Nineveh to deliver his message. The third example I'm going to give from the people of the past, from the prophet, was the case of Joseph when he was thrown into the well by no other than his brothers. Now, at this point in time, ordinarily we say someone thrown into the well. No. When I'm talking about well here, let's understand it. I'm talking about a deep well that if you throw in your pail, your fetching pail or bucket to bring water, you won't see the bucket. You just know that this guy hit something underneath. As in, you can't see the water eyeball to eyeball, that this is the water. I'm looking at the water coming out. You have to drag and drag and drag. That was the state of Joseph. So he was thrown right there, and his brothers went away. Right? Ordinarily, he should fall into the water. Ordinarily, no support, nothing to hold on to. And of course, such a person like that should have drowned or will have, been suffocated with no air or be drowned in the well and could be considered dead. But after some days, the travelers who were traveling from Palestine to Egypt, they waited by to get water from the well, and as soon as they put in their bucket, Yusuf held to the bucket and they brought him out. Now, to the man who brought Joseph out that day, he found that it is not possible. What am I seeing here? A human being from the well. Just like how, wow. And that was it, that Joseph was saved from the antics of his own brother, and God rescued him. Now, am I talking to you, my brother, my sister, my friend? And you think that things happening around you, I mean, the synopsis, I mean, it brings some prognosis that this thing is not possible. It suggests that everything is just, let's just forget about it. Let's forget about this thing. It's not going to happen again. Is that your situation right now? I'm telling you, respected listeners, that it is absolutely possible. Trust in the almightiness of the Creator, and He will make a way, although it may seem there is no way. In Quran chapter 64 and 65, God tells us about the fact that, verses 2 to 3, that وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. If you are conscious of the Almighty, He, the Almighty God, will make a way for you, even though it may seem that there is no way. I want you to hang on. And that takes me to the last example we're going to give in this first segment. There's a case of a friend of mine who had lost hope with, giving birth to children. And he had problem with his previous marriages, and he felt that, well, I'm just gonna continue my life like this. But one thing about him was he never lose faith in the Almighty. As a result of what you're looking for, some people might have bowed before these, go to shrine, go to a pastor, go to malam, do some unthinkable things that you don't expect a believer to do. But his brother stood firm. So at the end of the day, when everybody had left him, he just felt, maybe if I get a partner, but the condition for getting the partner is that, he said the condition is that I want a wife that has been proven that she can have a baby. Right? That's the condition. That's what he set out. I don't want a woman that comes to me and said, I want to have a baby. I want a woman that we can live our lives, enjoy ourselves, live peacefully and happily. We're not talking about children. So he said the credential he wanted was a woman who is off childbearing, who either by age is off childbearing or is not interested in having a child, or has been proven medically that she can no longer have a child. So they looked around and they got a lady, may Allah bless her, and she had traveled all over the world, UK, US, India, Canada, and the best of the hospitals in the world she had been to. And it has been proven beyond all reasonable doubt, because when you do a test in Nigeria, the same test in the UK, the same test in India, the same test in Canada, and you have been proven that this womb is gone. This womb can't conceive any child again. But what happened? Man, it became possible. Now, when they got married, that was the condition of the wedding. The woman took ill, and the guy said, it should be malaria or typhoid or whatever. So go to the hospital, and they went to the hospital and they tried to do all the tests, run all the tests. Not malaria, not typhoid, nothing. And they thought, the doctor tells him, guy, make we do pregnancy test now. He said, no. For us, and he said, me and my wife, we know it can never be pregnancy. He said, we know that it can never be pregnancy. So if we're talking about pregnancy, let's rule it out. Let's talk about something else. But the guy said, okay, but it's no harm in trying. That's just to fulfill everything. Because we said we have tried everything and we have proven everything. It's not malaria, it's not typhoid, it's nothing. This woman is okay. So what's the problem? It's okay, fine. If you just want to do it, go ahead and do it, no problem. But we know it can never be pregnancy. Allahu Akbar. So they went and the result came, and they said, congratulations, madam. You are pregnant. You have pregnancy. Yes, sir. Excuse me, what did you just say? I am pregnant? How? He said, how? Go check it again. And they had to repeat the test again and again. They said, it's pregnancy, man. And that was it, man. The brother gave birth to a bouncing child. The bottom line here is this. Sometimes you say this is absolutely impossible. It cannot happen. But God says it is absolutely possible. What you say is absolutely impossible. When you bring it to God's equation, we say it is absolutely possible. It is on this note I want to encourage you, respected listeners far and near. Trust in the Almighty. He's always there with you, for you, and He listens to everything that you say. Now, somehow you might look at, it's getting late, man. It's getting late. Yes, to you, in your own calculation and your estimate, and looking at your environment, people around you feel that it's late. But God, you are not late. With God, you are not late. You are right on time, because your destination is just a destination, and God has your destiny in His hands. I pray with you, the Almighty Allah will bless you, keep you in sound health and with beautiful provision, and will make that which has been deemed to be absolutely impossible to make it to be with you absolutely possible, inshallah. We're going to come back at the second stage of our discussion today. We roll off to the marital segment of our discussion, and God willing, we'll be right back.
As I surrender, I'm giving you my heart and my soul. I'm calling.